No, I am a DoorDash lady.
DoorDash
Lady.
How is their accessibility? And that's the new Toshiba Amazon Fire TV.
Introducing Fire TV Cube, the first all-in-one streaming media player with hands-free Alexa built in. Now it's easy to do things like this.
Alexa, turn on the TV.
Alexa, turn on TV.
Okay, I'm too old for that.
There's one gesture that I really don't care for. It's the shake one. It reminds me of the Etch-a-Sketch when I was a little kid.
You can get your iPhone hacked if you bring it. And I'm like, I thought they were unhackable.
I'm trying to get off the couch at least once a year. Next year, it might be CSUN. Get it out of the way in February so I can just lay on the couch the rest of the year.
Is it really trouble or is it ingenious? I can't do that. I just roll it up in a ball and call it good.
I'm talking about gestures. Oh, wait.
That's not helping.
That's not helping. 3, 2, 1. Well, if you like to use dictation, then welcome back to That Blank Tech Cell. But honestly, this is That Blind Tech Show, not That Blank Tech Cell, as Siri wanted to try and call us earlier. Kind of a cool name. I'm here with two great people as always. Serina Gilbert. How you doing tonight, Serina?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
Not too bad, not too bad. Now, are you excited to be on That Blank Tech Cell?
I don't know. I'm a little nervous.
Little nervous? Jeff, how you doing over there? Good to be chatting with you as always.
I'm doing really good, Brian. I'm getting ready, starting that mode where I start packing for the NFB convention down to Orlando.
What's the NFB convention?
That's the National Food Business.
Oh, yes. A big fan of food.
National Federation of the Blind is having their annual convention down in Orlando, and we're headed down there Sunday, and we'll be coming back on Saturday.
Cool. And there's some other people from the Blind Abilities Podcast Network that are going to be down there, aren't there?
There is. Nick D'Ambrosio from Montreal will be coming on down, and Mr. Pete Lane will be there too, so it should be a good time.
Yeah, and you'll hear from Pete later this show, actually. So, we're bringing out all the big guns on this show. All those government people that have been trying to get Nick, he'll be in the United States, so it'll be our chance to get him. Serina, do you ever head to any of the conferences?
I honestly have not had any desire to go to the conferences until I started being on the podcast on Blind Abilities Network. Now I'm jealous of all you guys getting to go.
Hey, I'm not going either, but that's because people might want to punch me in the face from some of the stuff I've said, and I just can't allow that to happen. Anyhow, there's not much news going on, but we found some interesting stories as always. And
before you go any further, though, she did mention CSUN next year.
I was going to throw that in there, but Brian just kept talking. So
I've been known to do that. So you planning on going to CSUN next year?
I might have dropped a little hint somewhere in a certain podcast.
And Brian just mentioned something earlier today that, he's thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to get off the couch at least once a year. Next year, it might be CSUN. Get it out of the way in February so I can just lay on the couch the rest of the year.
And it's in Anaheim this year, right next to Disneyland.
Now, I hate Disneyland, but I do love LA, my old home and everything. So I used to go to LA several times a year to do shows, but all of a sudden I realized it's been 5 years since I've been to LA. So CSUN might be a good reason to get out there and everything. But we're looking forward to hearing all the great things that come out of NFB that Jeff and the rest of the gang will be letting us know, all the fun stuff. Did you guys ever hear the one about the Chinese food restaurant that decided to go all you can eat for a fixed price and went bankrupt very quickly? I don't know why I found this so funny. This was a pretty humorous story, Serina.
I thought it was funny because if I could eat all the Chinese food I could for a whole month for, what was it, like $19? I'd be there every day for lunch and dinner. It would have only lasted a couple weeks, but it would have been good while it lasted.
My favorite thing about this article is the fact that people would get in line at 8 a.m. hours before the restaurant opened, just waiting to get in. But the reason I wanted to put this in, it's like, who came up with this business model? That's what made me scratch my head. Jeff, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I made a couple grand because I put on the shades and the sunglasses and everything and the cane. Instead of pencils in the tin can, I had chopsticks. So people were buying them left and right.
Yeah.
That is not where I thought you were going with that, Jeff. I thought you were going to say you cut the line and just pulled the blind card.
Yeah, gives me need food.
I can't even remember the last time I went to an all-you-can-eat place. I know they're very popular out there in Vegas and everything. As a blind person, I'm just not a fan of buffets. But if you're getting married and I find out it's a buffet without service, I'm not coming.
Yeah, buffets are interesting sometimes.
Yeah. But anyway, big thing going on right now to most people in the world is World Cup. And this next story I thought was really interesting because even though we're a little late reporting it because World Cup's already started, at least it'll be going on till mid-July, they're advising people that do attend the World Cup not to bring your iPhone. What are your thoughts about this, Serena?
Well, I read the article and I just think that the reason that they're saying not to bring your iPhone is kind of hilarious because they say that you can get your iPhone hacked if you bring it. And I'm like, I thought they were unhackable. So...
No, that's only if you purchase something, call someone, or text anybody, though.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't just iPhones. They were just smartphones in general. They're saying if you go to World Cup, do not bring your smartphone. And if you do, take the battery out, hide it under your pillow, hide the pillow underneath your bed. I mean, what's going on in Russia? I mean, when did they become such expert hackers, Jeff?
I don't know. But, when they say don't even get onto their Wi-Fi over there, it's like, my gosh, what is it? Just the phones? They're gonna get everything from us, Wow. What happens when you come back with your phone, though? That, nothing might happen there, but are you going to be bringing back some type of tech disease?
Obviously, they don't practice what we practice on this show, safe iPhoning, which we've discussed several times and everything. This article did make me think. Serena, is there anywhere where you've ever said, you know what, maybe it's best for me to leave my smartphone at home because I think I take it wherever I go?
Yeah, you obviously don't know me very well, Brian, because I'm never without my iPhone. Unless it's an accident, and then I'm, lost without it. I barely even like turning it off.
It's funny. It just popped into my head. The last time I left my iPhone at home had to be about 6 years ago when I went for a walk in my new neighborhood in Jamaica, Queens. How odd, I got lost for 3 hours.
No blind square to help you out, right?
No, nothing, and that was, needless to say, that was the last time. But yeah, no, I take mine everywhere. I sleep with mine. I mean, that's a little TMI.
Mine is surgically implanted, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's true. You're living the dream, so you just can't go to World Cup and everything. I guess that's, one of those things that we're fortunate enough to live in the United States where, we really don't have to worry about this. But in certain countries, where I guess the networks aren't as safe, something that could definitely be a huge issue. So if you are planning to go to World Cup, you may want to leave or if you're planning to go to Russia in general, just leave that smartphone at home.
Do you think that Russia puts out this propaganda that says, if you plan on going to the United States, you may want to leave your smartphone at home?
There probably is a story that says that.
That's true. God, what was the name of that Russian? Yakov Smirnoff, I heard he does not bring his iPhone when he's doing comedy shows around the United States and everything. I don't know. Do you remember that name, Jeff? Yakov Smirnoff from the 80s?
Wow, that goes back. Yeah. He's a Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he owns a restaurant in Des Moines or something. There was an article I read about him lately.
Does Iowa have smartphones yet?
I have a good friend that lives there, and he told me they just got 56.6 baud there. So things are really happening in Des Moines.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's about how much is happening there. That little pause right there.
Yeah, we had nowhere to go. We were like...
We're scouring all of Iowa for news.
No, you just lost an entire state of fandom.
Yeah. Corn.
If you've listened to this show before, you know that we're big proponents of working with companies to help fix accessibility. You always start off with a nice word, and then, you be nice until it's time not to be nice, especially if you look at my personal Twitter feed with the fun I had at Grubhub, which we'll get into a little later. But I recently actually had to order a replacement Social Security card because I did some work with a company that, even though I knew my Social Security number, they refused to pay me unless I sent them a copy of my Social Security card, which I found odd. So I was on the government's website, and I came across something called Audio Eyes. Now, I know you guys aren't terribly familiar with it. What it is it's almost like a third-party screen reader that launches when you first go to this government website. And it got me to thinking, I mean, I'm sure Audio Eyes does some great work, but I spent about 45 minutes trying to get this Audio Eyes thing to turn off, and it was really driving me insane. It's almost as if companies are trying to use this third-party screen reader instead of just making their sites work with screen readers. So, Serina, what are your thoughts about stuff like these third-party things that have their own set of commands?
It makes no sense to me, actually, because how did you get to the website in the first place? You had to have navigated there in the first place. I don't know how it knew to launch that. Like, how did it know you were blind?
It made no sense because, first off, it's a government website, so that was...
Do we want to know?
Yeah.
Maybe they should say, leave your guide dog at the door.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing to me how many government websites, whether it's state, local, federal, are just unbelievably poorly designed for screen reader use and everything. And I can't remember which government website I was on recently, and I was filling out a form. Actually, it might have been with Medicare to go paperless, and I got to the end of it, and there was a CAPTCHA.
No.
Yeah.
I hate those.
I don't know anybody that likes them. Even sighted people tell me, they're like, it takes them like 6 times because the words are written. And then if you ever try one of those audio captures and it sounds like...
the worst. And there's like 50 voices in the background of it. It's the worst.
Yeah.
7. Now, 4.
That's a perfect impression.
It's just terrible. So, yeah, if you're out there and you've come across one of these websites with Audio Eyes, let us know what you think. You could always write us in at ThatBlindTechShow@gmail.com, or you could just tweet us in at a Blind Tech Show. Yeah, so my latest, Grubhub, although they did reach out to me, I went on a little bit of a tirade when I was trying to order Grubhub yesterday because their app accessibility has just spiraled so downhill. This is a company that years ago cared so much about accessibility, where they had great heading navigation built into the app. If you go to a menu, you have to flick left to right, and half the time, half the options won't work. Have you ever used Grubhub, Serina?
No, I am a DoorDash lady. DoorDash lady.
How is their accessibility?
Oh, it's great. I've never had any problems. We also tried Postmates for the first time today, and I prefer DoorDash personally. We've still got our food and everything, but DoorDash is so much faster. Yeah,
DoorDash is in my area, but they just don't seem to have as many restaurants as Grubhub. But I might have... It would make my life a lot easier, and I'd probably go on less tirades. How about yourself, Jeff? Have you ever tried using Grubhub?
No, I haven't used any of the Grubhubs or DoorDash. Just the traditional pizza stuff. I owned 3 vehicles, and 2 of the kids that live here still have license. So, I
put them to good work.
There's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You've got a built-in food delivery service.
That's right. But most of the time, it's not at my convenience like you guys can do with your DoorDash and stuff. I'm interested in it, though.
Yeah, and I did hear from Grubhub Cares. I've heard from them for several times over the years, which is why I was so irate, and they've just, everything has spiraled much worse. for some reason, I was in the mood for French fries. I was eating off the diet, and I tried to type in French, and then flicking left to right just kept saying image. So, yeah, their app has become pretty much completely useless with VoiceOver. But we'll see. I'll give them a shot at Grubhub Cares, and I'll work with them, because sometimes companies, for example, I just read about a great new app for the Apple Watch called Chirp, which is a Twitter client. Got phenomenal reviews, and I went and installed it today, and I started to check it out because for some reason I've never been able to get Twitterific to work great on the iPhone. And I started flicking right, and it's had a bunch of unlabeled stuff, and I just happened to tweet the developer, and sure enough, he got right back to me and said, hey, this is something that I'm going to address immediately and everything because it should be accessible to VoiceOver, and that was very impressive. So,
and that's Chirp?
Chirp. So,
are we getting to a point where we're running out of words to name these apps?
Well, what do birds do? Don't they chirp? So Twitter, chirp. I thought it was a pretty clever name. Twitterific, tweeting. Tweeting does seem to work much better on the Apple Watch with VoiceOver, but, like I said, I just wanted to check this out, and I couldn't believe the developer got right in touch with me. And it was funny because, well, he's definitely a millennial because I think he has finals going on. So it's probably like a 14-year-old kid that developed this app.
I'm going to make sure I get out there. I'm going to save these right after this show. Cluck and gobble.
Cluck and gobble. That's very smart. That's good. In fact, I'm doing it. I'm multitasking right now to beat you to the punch. With the chirp, it was so funny because it said preferred method of communication. It used to be email, a phone number. His preferred methods were Twitter or Read It. Yeah, I've noticed that about the millennials. The email is too passé for them and everything.
I'm a millennial, right?
That's why I'm trashing them in front of you.
Just barely.
I don't just talk behind people's back. I do it right in front of their face. Live. Well, tape delayed.
2 hours time difference away, but right in front of them.
Yeah, totally. Virtually in front of your face.
Exactly. Virtually. We do have the camera turned off for that very reason while recording.
Or so you think, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I have had it on at times and been alerted to it.
It's obvious your maids came today.
Yeah. Hey.
That's how he knows you're lying.
Exactly. So we're getting close to July, which, for some of us means convention season, but for others of us, it means we're getting much closer to the public beta of iOS 12. Serina, any plans to run the public beta, or you don't want that stuff on your phone?
Usually I'm all about running those public betas. Last year I did, even on my dinosaur iPhone 6 that I had last year. But I can't think of any voiceover features that they even announced that I care about. In years past, they had all kinds of accessibility news that you could watch from the WWDC conference. I didn't see any accessibility things. Did you guys?
First of all, I want to clarify, in this first world country, a Dinosaur 6 might be a great phone for all you others out there, but, she does live in Colorado.
Hey,
and,
that power management thing, come on.
In New York, we call it Colorado. I don't know what Colorado is.
Ooh.
Such a subtle difference.
Yeah, huge difference, huge. Because I never butcher words on this podcast.
The English is English. By default, I become a developer because I have the Blind Abilities app, and this time around, I decided not to install the iOS 12 beta. I follow the iAccessibility group on WhatsApp. They have a developers group, and they're just awesome. They sacrifice their phones, they go in, they troubleshoot, but they report to the developer the issues that they're having. So when the public comes out, it'll be ready or more ready for public use to kick around. And right now, the sighted people don't have too many hiccups. A couple of things aren't working, but good for them. I didn't want to do it this time because I'm busy. My phone is my lifeline. It's surgically embedded, as I stated, and I just think good for the people that are doing it, and I'll probably be getting on soon.
Yeah, as we like to say on this show, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It must be an Apple.
Yeah. If it's working, if your phone's working good and you're happy with it, don't install this public beta. Also, if you only have one device that you rely on solely, never wise to run the beta. Now, it's funny because my iPhone 7, which is now my old device, I'll probably put it on there. The problem is it has some other issues, so I'll be like, oh, that's not working, but it'll probably be just the water damage that supposedly happened to the phone. For some reason, if you flick with one hand right or left, that doesn't work anymore, and I'm pretty good with doing things with one hand.
Opening doors, parade wave.
So I'm talking about gestures. Oh, wait.
That's not helping.
That's not helping.
The one finger gesture, Brian?
Yes.
Still not helping.
Still not helping. I don't plan to I've never run a beta on the Mac just because you never know. There's just so many issues with the Mac. I'm looking forward to Mojave. I don't know why people find that so hard to pronounce. I'm looking forward to it because I can't stand High Sierra, but I'll still wait until they get a lot of the bugs worked out, and I'll check, different email lists to find out what is working and what's not working with VoiceOver. Luckily, we do get a lot of people that throw caution to the wind and just run these betas with VoiceOver, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of testing. And I did hear that there is not going to be a public beta for the Apple Watch, so that was kind of disappointing because that's the one thing I'm looking forward to is the walkie-talkie feature, so my two friends that have Apple Watches, I could bother them, during working hours.
You know, when you mentioned Mojave, it's all those Braille readers that try and sound it out. That's what happens.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's living in California for 5 years. I knew what the Mojave was, but I didn't know what Sierra. No, I knew what Sierra was. I didn't know what High Sierra was. So, Jeff, I know that you're a Mac user and an iPhone user. Have you been able to get your iCloud messages to sync up since all the great latest updates?
I do get my messages, like just getting ready for the show when Serina had a couple technical issues going on. She was messaging me, and I could seamlessly on my Mac just go over and respond and reply. Or I could go to my phone. I was getting them on both of them, so it must be working pretty good.
What about deleting? When you delete in one place, does it automatically delete on the other place? Is that working for you?
I have never deleted one of Serina's messages.
Oh, so sweet.
Serina, how about yourself? I know you're a Mac user, you're an iPhone user. Do you use messages on both devices?
So here's the thing that I don't fully understand, and maybe you guys can enlighten me. I've always been able to get all of my messages on my Mac and my iPhone, even if they weren't from another iPhone, because of that message forwarding thing or whatever you call it. What I haven't been able to figure out is why, no matter what I do on my Mac, it always says I have like 20 or 25 unread messages, even though they're read. And I thought the iCloud thing would fix that, and it has not. So I haven't noticed a difference.
Maybe it's from the past that your messages are down deeper.
No, I've literally like highlighted everything, marked as read on my phone. Because all my messages that are on my phone are on the Mac. Because I don't ever delete any messages. Not just yours, Jeff, but I never, ever delete messages. So it's all the same feed on both devices.
There is a way, because I get a lot of Amazon deliveries or this curb service we use here in New York. They text you 600 times, and it used to drive me nuts because you delete it on the iPhone and it wouldn't delete on the Mac and vice versa. And to get this new iCloud feature to work, you actually have to go into preferences on the Mac, and you go with your command comma, open up your preferences, and there's a checkbox. Use iCloud sync to delete, I think it may be called. Jeff could double check that, but you have to check that, and then everything should delete. I don't believe you need to enable it on the iPhone, but you do need to enable it on the Mac. So if you are wondering why your messages are not deleting in synchronicity, check that box. Yeah, I had to call Apple Accessibility to find that one out.
I'll have to check that out, because I turned on iCloud messages on my phone and on the MacBook.
Okay.
And I synced them, if that's a word.
Synced? Yeah.
Synced. Sounds weird. But it's constantly, and I even Googled it because people are like, why does it say I have unread messages on my MacBook when they're clearly read? And it said to go into the commander and do all this stuff, and I couldn't figure it out. So
it's just a simple checkbox. It's in messages, in preferences and everything. I don't know why they didn't, they had all these articles talking about now iCloud's going to sync up when you delete in one place, it'll delete because now your messages are stored in the cloud. Why none of the articles mentioned, oh, by the way, there's this little checkbox you have to check first for it to work. It's just one of those things. So once you check that box, then everything should sync up accordingly and delete, and it works perfectly fine now. How about this product, the Amazon Smart Cube, I think it's called. And if you do have an older TV, this sounds like the perfect product. What are your thoughts about the Cube, Jeff?
I think the Cube is going to revolutionize the TV market because people are just going to jump on this. And I got to hand it to Amazon because they've been coming out with the dots, the look, the show, all the taps, and all this type of stuff. And now they got this coming out. People on affordable budgets, all that type of thing, they're just nailing it. They're just nailing it. They're just coming out. They're being innovative. And here it is. Now you can actually activate all your equipment basically just by voice. Good for them. However, with that said, you could save yourself $129 if you have a Fire Stick and a dot, just a little bit of duct tape, and there you go.
Yeah, now this product sounds pretty cool to me, and I debated, keeping my TV dumb and getting one of these cubes or just getting a new TV, and I said, 10 years, it's probably about time to get a new TV, and why not get everything built in? And
breaking news. This just in from our correspondent down in Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Pete Lane. Take it away, Pete.
Hi, guys. I purchased the Amazon Fire Cube when it was initially offered by Amazon to Prime members at a discounted price. The price I paid was $89 US, and while the offer was made several weeks ago, the Cube was not actually delivered until Thursday, June 21st. I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of the Amazon Fire Cube to review its functionality and, in this particular case, the lack of functionality of some of its features. And now we'll compare each feature with those described in the Amazon video.
It's time to start reimagining TV. Introducing Fire TV Cube, the first all-in-one streaming media player with hands-free Alexa built in. Now it's easy to do things like this.
Alexa, turn on the TV.
Alexa, turn on TV.
Okay, I'm too old for that. But yeah, he's getting 800 yards worth of passing. That being said, I still think Randy Moss.
Success. The Amazon Fire Cube successfully turned on my TV.
Alexa, play Sneaky Pete.
Alexa, switch to Amazon Prime.
Do you want to listen to Prime?
No. Partial success. If you are already in the HDMI input source for Amazon Prime, you can then request a specific show. Alexa, go home. Alexa, play episode 1 of Bosch on Prime.
Here's Bosch.
If, however, you are in the cable input HDMI port, you must first request that Alexa switch input sources to the other HDMI port.
Alexa, switch to cable.
Success. The Amazon Fire Cube will switch to other input sources.
Alexa, tune to Fox.
Alexa, switch to ESPN.
Tuning to ESPN on cable.
So you do that.
Success. The Amazon Fire Cube will change channels within a given input source, such as your cable network, either by requesting the channel number or the network title.
Alexa, rewind 30 seconds.
Alexa, rewind 30 seconds.
I can do that on our Netflix. Which would you like?
Cancel. Partial success. The Amazon Fire Cube can only rewind or fast forward while in the Amazon Prime app or in Netflix. Alexa, go home. Alexa, play season 1 of Goliath on Amazon Prime.
Here's Goliath.
Alexa, skip forward 30 seconds. Also, after giving a skip forward or skip backwards command, it appears to be necessary to ask Alexa to play the show before it resumes. Alexa, play.
Fire TV Cube can hear you from across the room.
Only partial success. If your TV volume is loud, it is not uncommon for the Amazon Fire TV Cube to miss your voice command.
Fire TV Cube is always getting smarter.
We just can't give her a success on this feature. There were too many times during the demonstration that she got hung up. Alexa, switch to Amazon Prime.
Do you want to listen to Prime?
No. Alexa, play episode 1 of Bosch on Prime.
Here's Bosch.
Alexa, play Bosch. I don't know what she's hung up on. Somewhat temperamental. Alexa, what are you doing?
I'm answering questions and learning more.
So now it's easier to get more out of the biggest screen in your house.
Only a partial success. The Amazon Fire Cube does make a lot of things easier using voice commands, but it still has some bugs. Alexa, stop.
Already have seen as a proxy for respect. That's why these things.
Alexa, stop.
Because the only way they should act is with money, because money is.
Alexa, turn TV off.
Let's not forget.
And the TV is off.
Fire TV Cube. Let's start reimagining TV.
Overall, only a partial success. In conclusion, I don't think the Amazon Fire Cube is quite ready for prime time. Many functions appear to work as intended, although even those can be clunky at times. Others don't seem to work at all. Let's hope that Amazon improves the overall operations of the Amazon Fire Cube. I hope this brief demo has been somewhat informative. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Pete Lane. And if you want to learn more about this, check out the upcoming podcast, the full demo of the Amazon Fire Cube.
Now, is it me, or has it seemed like there's been an explosion of GPS, great GPS, 3, 2, 1, GPS? Did I say GPS?
I was just about to ask you. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard GPS.
Is that Great Pacific?
Is it me, or does it seem like there's been an explosion of great GPS apps specifically designed for the blind in the last few months? Because I'm counting 4 of them, and I've been using all of them. How about yourself, Serina? What are you using as far as GPS applications?
The only new one that I have seen myself is the Soundscape one by Microsoft.
How do you like it?
I like it. They could do a better voice, for sure, but for something being absolutely free, it's pretty cool.
Well, I know it just did get an American voice, but I guess it was always a British voice because the people at Microsoft, I believe, are British and developed it. They're continuing to develop it. A couple of the new ones that people should definitely check out that are free, Lazarillo, and we'll put a link in the show note. I've been very impressed with this app, as well as ID, which is, if you're looking for it, you have to spell it EYE-D, otherwise you will not find it. That's another really interesting one. How about yourself, Jeff? What have you been using?
When they came out with that app, Microsoft teamed up with Guide Dogs of the UK, and that's why you're going to get some of more of that English tone to a few things, maybe meters or something like that. But Lazarillo, I think it's cute. When you have it on, it's got some cute little sounds that come on.
Lazarillo, stop exploration. Button.
And it kind of like takes a look around.
Intersection East River Road with 69th Way Northeast 156 feet to the northwest. Bus stop, 69 Way 221 feet in front of you. Speech history.
Reads back what it had previously said, so you have a record of it.
69 Way, bus stop, 217 feet northwest. Transport, banks and atoms. Health places.
And then it's just like Blind Square. You got entertainment place, food places, places of interest.
Pubs and nightclubs. Back button. Two Stooges Sports Bar and Grill. Bar, 3,266 feet northeast. The Fort, Speakeasy, 3,320 feet southeast.
And you can quickly find out where you are.
Where am I? Button. Getting your location. You are on E River Road 6800 Fridley MN.
You can turn it on, turn it off, but it's accurate and it seems like it's working on the spot. So it's another option. Yeah, there are a lot of them coming out. A lot of them are out, and I'm started to collect them in a folder. Now it looks like I'm collecting them, like, going to trade them like baseball cards or something, but, but there's a lot of them.
And you must not have used ID in a while, because they finally do have feet and everything. Jeff and I were on the phone one day testing it out. We're like, well, how far what's with these people overseas and that stupid metric system? What's that?
Meters, yeah.
Meters, yeah.
But now there's an option. You can switch it on and off.
Yeah. So it's too much math for me, the metric system. I have enough trouble with feet and yards and everything. And of course, there's always the gold standard, in my opinion, which is still my favorite, but this one does cost money, and that's Blind Square GPS. I play around with these other ones, but I loved, even Friday night, I was in a cab, and I set a beacon to where I was going, and just to either shake the iPhone and it tells you right where you are, or if you have the AirPods in, doing a one-finger double tap, and it will go through the menu and location, you just double tap on it. Blind Square is, in my opinion, a must-have app, but again, I don't know what the cost is now. It might be $24, $25 US, but there's a lot of options, and all the other ones we mentioned are free, so you can't beat that.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard because I've never actually downloaded Blind Square. And then when Soundscape came out and it was free, and I know it's not the same, but it does very similar things. You're like, well, why do I think last time I looked, it was $39. So it might have come down in price now. But then you're like, well, how do I justify spending this money on this when I can get the same thing for free? It's kind of like when, for those of us who adopted the KNFB reader, for $99 when it came out.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Seeing AI came out, which was multiple years later, but still you're like, oh, man,
Yeah. And Now, with Lazarillo, I did notice that it was very similar in a lot of ways to Blind Square GPS. So I don't know who the developer is. It looks like it was just some person. We'll have to check his name maybe and put it in the show notes, give him credit. Very impressive for a free app. I don't think it has the shake features like Blind Square, but it had a lot of similarities to Blind Square, and like I said, it's completely free. So definitely, if you're looking for a GPS app, check out Blind Square. Check out Lazarillo for free.
There's one gesture that I really don't care for it. It's the shake one. It reminds me of the Etch-a-Sketch when I was a little kid. You know, you just scribble some little designs, then you have to shake it to erase it. We've come a long way, you know.
Something tells me that when you were growing up, a lot of kids used to shake your sodas and open them on you. So you must have like shake issues. I love just shaking it, and you don't even have to do the shake. If you have your AirPods and you just tap on one of the AirPods, and the second thing is location, and you do a one-finger double tap. And so, yeah, we've got product reviews, which is awesome. You know, we got a couple of great products that we wanted to mention. The first one actually would be quite useful with any of these GPS apps. In fact, I just used it the other day, and Jeff is kind of funny because, like, I'll talk about a great product that I just got. I'm like, oh, you got to get this. And Jeff is like, well, let me wait another 10 days and see if you're still using it. So I think we're at about day 8 of this product, and I'm still loving it. Now, this is what they call a Bluetooth button that basically it's about the size of a nickel, a little thicker than a nickel, and it's got some kind of metallic strap, and what it does is it just attaches to the top of your shirt. You can put it on a pocket, and I'll tell you, the volume is fantastic. I mean, it's got a little speaker in it. Basically, I think you press and hold the button, and it launches Siri. Obviously, you have to have your phone in your pocket, but if you want to go for a nice walk and use one of these GPS applications, you won't even have this thing at maximum volume. Now, you won't necessarily be able to hear it that well in a crowded restaurant or bar, but I've been a big fan of this at least for 8 days so far.
That sounds really cool, because that eliminates the distraction if you are using Blind Square when you're walking around and your hands are free.
Exactly. And you know, as much as I love having an earbud in, you know, sometimes you gotta take it out so you can hear traffic. I went for a nice long walk the other day using this, and it was fantastic. You know, it was just nice to hear, you know, what you're crossing and everything.
Whoa. You got off the couch.
I did, so I don't have to again the rest of this year.
See, sun's coming.
So, you know, I guess every 10 years I have to get a new television. So I'm very excited. As we're recording it, it's not here yet, but hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll be able to put together a little demo for everybody, unless, of course, it sucks. And that's the new Toshiba Amazon Fire TV with Amazon Fire built in and everything. And now here's my question. Okay, so this TV is going to have the A-Lady, yet I have an A-Lady in here. So how is one A-Lady going to know I'm talking to it? Or that's the...
You might have to name them 2 different things.
But yeah, the one in the bedroom has already got the other name. So I think there are 3 names you could use, can't...
Computer.
What you're having here is multiple lady problems, Brian.
I am, man. I get around, man, you know. I'm not a one smart lady kind of man, you know.
But they're all named the same name. That's the trouble thing here.
Exactly.
Is it really trouble or is it ingenious?
Wow, that's good.
Actually, they do have separate names, but I confuse them for each other, and when I do, I get really mad.
Yeah, they are intelligent.
When I call my A-Lady, E-Lady, and I call the E-Lady the A-Lady, they don't respond at all.
Wow.
I bet you just get the cold shoulder for hours, right?
Brian, why don't you check your watch? Why don't you check out the window to find out what the weather's like? Yankees, Yankees who?
Brian, turn on the air conditioner yourself.
Really, I mean, I'd rather wash my hair.
The reviews, you know, unfortunately, I've been reading, you know, they've lost some of the HDMIs. You know, went from 4 to 3. I guess the Element TVs had 4. But compared to my old TV, which I got in December of 2008, I'm thinking it's probably going to sound a lot better, and it's just going to have I heard a demo of the voice view on the Element TVs, and I'm just hoping that this one works as well. I'm pretty excited about this. Do you have a smart TV, Serina, or you still have a dumb TV like I currently do?
We do have a smart TV, but as far as I can tell, because it's hooked up through DirecTV, so we never investigated to see if there was any voice on it with like an update or anything. When we first bought it, there definitely wasn't. But the DirecTV box has a voice, but it sounds horrible. It sounds like somebody's talking trapped in a well or something. I don't know.
Timmy!
It's so bad. But we don't use the actual menus like on the actual TV because we have the DirecTV service.
Okay, the DirecTV service. And how is the accessibility of the DirecTV service?
So I don't have DirecTV now. I know we're going to talk about that later. It's just the regular box, and it is accessible. Like I said, it's just the voice it's just a piece of crap. The voice, like when you try to listen to it compared to an Apple voice or even the voice on the Amazon Fire TV, it's just so hard to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a smart TV in your future. It's a good thing that I've been working a lot because I just keep spending. And I actually got another product I wanted to talk about. I guess I'm just trying to become a better blind person because this next product, it doesn't work with a smartphone or anything. And I was a little surprised that there wasn't really an app. There was Digitize that did something like I wanted, but I have a lot of clothing that I actually want to start to label so I know what I'm wearing instead of just grabbing something. And this was a product that they sell on Amazon as well as Maxi Aids called, I believe it's the Reason Talking Wand, and I've already tested it out. It works really cool. They say it's like a pen, but it's more felt like a thermometer, and it's got like 3 buttons on it, and you can record your own audio labels. And the stickers do seem pretty cheap. It works great. I just hope it stays on the clothing when it goes to the laundromat and everything. How about yourself, Serina? Do you have anything like this, or how are you able to tell? Obviously, women care much more what they're wearing than us men, so how are you able to tell which clothes you're putting on and that everything matches up?
Oh, how do you know Jeff doesn't care what he's wearing? You're being sexist over there.
I've seen the way he dresses.
Yeah, Brian.
Have you really? No.
I hear his clothes, the cheapness moving back and forth when we do the podcast. No.
I match my socks, Brian, to my shirts.
I can't believe I just got Me Too'd on my own podcast.
I can't believe I did that to you. Sorry. I'm
That's
totally
quite
not
okay.
a hashtag Me Too kind of person either.
I'm not talking to him anymore.
Hey, Jeff, do you remember that guy that used to host that Blind Tech show, but he got fired because of the Me Too movement?
It was all Serena's fault.
Oh, what's his name? Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He was talking about going to that conference in Anaheim, and nobody ever heard from him again. What are you doing, Serena? How do you organize?
Well, I was curious because what you're talking about sounds very similar to the Pen Friend.
It is.
So how is that different? Is it the same type of thing? Does it not need contact with the labels like the Pen Friend does?
No, it does. It's cheaper, though.
Okay.
The Pen Friend looked like a great product. I believe that's the Royal Institute of the Blind puts that one out of.
That'd be the Royal National Institute for the Blind there, mate.
England and everything. This just looked like it had great reviews. I got it for about $87, and the other one was about $190.
Okay.
So I just decided to go with this. But so you are a Pen Friend. How does that work for you?
So I don't actually use the Pen Friend because I hated it because it was like annoying. So when I got my job with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, I tested out the Pen Friend and the ID Mate to label case files that were like in my file cabinet. So at work, I actually use an ID Mate, like the really, not the super old one, but it's not the newest one. And I find that works well because you don't need to know where the label is because the scanner is just so ginormous. I also use Digitize because you can buy barcodes and program them to what you want it to say when you scan it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was something about, I don't even recall what it was, but I was just like, you know what, let me check this product out. So far, I've only labeled like 2 things. It was pretty cool. And my big thing is, though, are these labels going to stay on the clothing when they go to the laundromat and everything? So, I might be coming back saying this product sucks 2 weeks from now. So, if all my labels are gone, or maybe I'll just stop washing my clothes. What are your thoughts about that, Jeff?
I don't really care about if you wash your clothes or not, Brian, because that's why I'm in Minnesota, you're in New York, and we keep the video off on these podcasts. In my closet, I hang up my shirts. I always go white to light to dark, in that order.
Wait a minute. You segregate your T-shirts?
I was just about to be like, Jeff, your OCD's showing. You can't put that in there. Someone will be offended.
It's the way I am, man. I got to fold everything the right way and all that stuff. It's just, I've always done it that way. And it's always, I think it's because of my sister and my mom. And if I was doing laundry or something, my sister was like, the clothing and me has always been organized and stuff like that. So
in New York, we got a great service that's not called Fluff and Fold, but I can never remember their name. They come to my door, they pick it up, they bring it back the next day, and it's like $14 for like it's almost like there's a dead body like in my laundry bag. That's how much laundry there is. And I can't understand these people that actually take the time to carry everything to the corners and do their laundry, because for some reason they never decided to build any of these buildings with like laundry machines in them. So I imagine like, in old school New York, everybody must have really stunk because nobody had laundry machines and everything. But yeah, no, it's just so easy. And I'm always mystified. Where do these people learn to fold so well? Because the way they fold all these clothes it's magical. I mean, it's absolutely magical.
I can fold fitted sheets.
Now that's a miracle. I can't do that. I just roll it up in a ball and call it good.
Yeah.
That's how you fold them, right?
And I podcast with you people.
Serina, you don't know how lazy I am? I actually took the wrong sheet out one time for the bed, and I dropped it, and I'm like, oh, well, that's got to go to the laundry now because I'm never going to be able to fold it. so I sent it to the laundry where it
just so they
didn't
can fold
need
it.
to be clean. Exactly. Like I said, I'm a little lazy at times. So
a little? No.
little legendary laziness. Legendary laziness.
Definition of no.
Oh. You know, it's interesting because we got a nice email. Let me strike that again, 321, because I always say interesting. I hate you doing that. So 32.
Brian, I just want to let you know you've used 3-3-2-1s already, and you only have 4 left.
Only 4 left.
Have you reached your quota?
We got a great email from a longtime listener, Randy Meyer. For those of you that may have listened to my old podcast, Randy was on one of our episodes. He's the mayor of Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, and he just happens to be blind. And Randy emailed us in, and he says, I really love the new show, although I don't know why people still call it a new show. We've been around for almost a year. But he said, really love That Blind Tech Show, but the one thing that is disappointing me is I haven't heard what's pissing off Brian lately. And the reason you haven't heard that...
Has he listened to the shows?
Yeah, it's just the whole show now instead of a segment and everything. But no. The reason you haven't heard of it is because things have been going well for so long. It's like the universe finally reversed itself. Instead of screwing me for 15 years, it's been given back to me. But anyhow, we needed to change the name of the segment for this show from What's Pissing Off Brian to What's Pissing Off Randy, because Randy is a Direct TV Now subscriber, and their accessibility just continues to spiral downward. Jeff, what have you been hearing about Direct TV Now, and why do they hate blind people so much over there?
I don't know if they know that they hate them, but I know that people have been complaining about the accessibility of the app and the service.
Yeah, and AT&T owns them, which is surprising because their app, for me paying my bill every month, it works fantastically well with VoiceOver. So it's so interesting how one part of the company could be so well with accessibility and another part is just awful. And I've been seeing this on a lot of email lists. There are a lot of really annoyed people at how this has spiraled downward. Serina, have you heard anything about this?
Well, it's really funny because when it came out, DirecTV Now, gosh, was that a year ago maybe? I downloaded it and did a trial and wrote a post on how inaccessible it was back then. And I even sent in the feedback to them, and then they eventually did fix it. And I've been told that this latest update, because I chose not to subscribe to it, but I've been told that this latest update completely broke it on not only the app, but the Apple TV as well.
Yeah, and the Apple TV, ever since they gave control to the app developers, they've really done a very poor job. A lot of the cable networks and stuff working with VoiceOver. And, ABC, which has described video, for some reason, everything is just show. Ooh. So if you want to watch a show, you can only watch something called show, and then you can't get it to play. I do still have an old Apple TV 3, third generation, I guess, and that thing still works perfectly. And that was when it was more closed design and everything, where Apple designed everything. And hopefully we'll see with the next tvOS update, but they have a long way to go with accessibility in there. And the fact that DirecTV Now is just clueless, and I heard they've been very unresponsive to the blind community. So hopefully that's something they do fix, because it's a shame that it was something that once worked and now it's not working. Jeff?
Well, there's a... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Serina.
This is why we need name tags.
There is a trick with... Because the ABC thing is my biggest pet peeve, because I love being able to go on there and actually have audio description, and the Disney app too, because I have a 4-year-old. But, I don't watch Disney. He does. Mm-hmm. And but here's a trick on the Apple. I hear your judginess.
Me?
Jeff's.
Oh, I was being supportive.
Jeff was being judgy. I heard it. One trick that you can use to access ABC content or any inaccessible content, because even Fox does this too, where it's show 1 out of 8, show 2 out of 9. You're like, awesome. You can go to the TV app on the Apple TV 4th generation and search for the show that you want to watch. And most of those network shows apps feed into the TV app, so you can launch it from there.
I did have an issue. I was trying to watch something, and I did try that method with the TV app, and then it threw me back into I think it was the inaccessible ABC app, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Something 1, something 2, something 3.
It didn't start playing, though? Because normally it'll start playing from there. Oh, that's annoying.
No, I think it was one of these things that said, you must log into our app, which, that universal sign-in, which has never worked for Verizon Fios customers. And what drives me bonkers is I have a TiVo where everything works great, and I'm one of those people that has to see every episode from the beginning, or I won't watch something. It's just the way I am. And every now and then I go to sit down and watch an episode that aired, because I'm always behind on everything, and it's, this program has been interrupted by some Trump guy or something. And I'm like, damn, now I got to go find the episode somewhere else and everything. And that's when I use the TV app, or, if you want to watch CBS, because I'm not going to pay for CBS Now, which I could never understand.
Hey, that Trump guy, he became president.
Oh, is that why he's getting to interrupt my shows? I thought it was his game show or whatever.
It's still a game show.
Oh, his presidency is a game show.
I love how far behind Jeff was with what you were saying, and then all of a sudden he's like...
It was so late breaking. It was almost like he was interrupting my show.
I know. Fake news is always a little late. I'm sorry.
This has been another That Blind Tech Show.
Excuse me. What's pissing off Brian?
Absolutely nothing. Oh, you know what's pissing off Brian? Having to sit in a hot apartment without having the fan going. And so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get more of a directional microphone. So this headset's pissing me off. So how's that?
So if you're wondering why That Blind Tech Show podcasts are now 7.5 minutes shorter than normal.
Although, no, we should have a couple of great demos from Brian Fischler, the phenomenal Brian Fischler, as well as the great Pete Lane. We're looking forward to demos. We hope you enjoy those demos. Serena, what do you have coming up?
You caught me off guard. Sorry.
Oh.
I've got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm on Job Insights.
Is that a podcast?
It's on the Blind Abilities Network.
See, that's Blind Ability Podcast Empire. I don't know why that's not catching on, Jeff. I've been trying. It's just not catching on. But no, I'm very familiar with Job Insights.
So if you like, see, that's never going to catch on because you're saying BAPE.
BAPE.
Blind Abilities Podcast Empire. BAPE.
Oh, BAPE. Okay. BAPE. Yeah,
That's how my brain works. I shorten everything.
Yeah. You're such a millennial.
Only by about 5 months.
Okay. 5 months?
Or no, like 1 month.
1 month? 1 month? So
yeah.
For all of you that haven't caught on yet, the acronym BAPE is BAPE. That's the Blind Abilities Podcast Empire, which hasn't caught on yet. Carry on, you guys.
Coming up on the next Job Insights, Donald Trump and how to get fired. But no, check out Job Insight. It's one of those great podcasts, part of the Blind Abilities Podcast Network. Jeff, when are you headed to NFB? Because this will be our last podcast before then.
Well, I got a few things I got to get done before the NFB, and that sew up ends and actually get my gear ready to go down there, because it's really unique to be able to do a podcast during the daytime and publish it at night, and it's kind of tricky. It's fun. Last year we did it, and this year we're doing it again. We're back on track for the convention coverage, and I'm sure I'm going to be calling you guys, and Brian, we did a podcast from Orlando last year.
We did, didn't we? Okay, yeah. That was actually one of the first ones. That was one of the first That Blind Tech shows. That's right. I forgot about that. I didn't forget about it. I tried to black it out, because I'm just not a conference guy.
You don't have that gold record podcast hanging on your wall?
No, I do now, though. It's somewhere. I'll have to ask Nash where it is.
We'll be down there, and I'll be contacting Serena, Brian, and Nick will be with us. Pete will be with us. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Hey, Serena, why does Blind Abilities pay for Jeff, Pete, and Nick go to NFB, but not us?
Why do you think I planted the CSUN seed?
Oh, okay.
You're ruining my plan.
Oh, so everybody gets flown around, Jeff.
So you'd rather be in humidity than sunny California? I mean...
Well, I only go to conferences when they send the Blind Abilities jet.
I know, and that's BAA, the Blind Abilities Airlines. So just say, bah.
I've got a lot going on because I've got a lot of clothes to label. So I'll be doing that, and that sounds very exciting. And then I'll find out.
Does not fit. Does not fit.
Oh, my goodness. You guys are so mean.
I know. Actually, we're putting the fat man clothes at the bottom of the closet. That stuff's not getting labels. That stuff's already sleeping with the fishes. Now, and obviously, hopefully this new TV, I'll be loving it. So, Jeff, while you're down there being crushed to death by all those blind people, just think about me sitting on the couch watching TV on my new Toshiba Amazon Fire TV, as long as it works.
Good for you. Good for you. And you can reach me at known as Jeff on Twitter.
And you can follow me on Twitter at BlindyBlog. That's BLINDYBLOG.
Why do all of you guys have to have blind in your Twitter handle? You can find me at Blind Gator. Well, this has been another That Blind Tech Show, part of the Blind Abilities podcast empire, now known as BAPE. You could email us in thatblindtechshow@gmail.com or tweet us blindtechshow on the Twitterverse. And for now, we are out.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the reality of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.